Hello, my name is Ngozi.
And I'm Nnena.
And welcome back to our channel, Ejima. So today we're talking about something we always talk about. My cousins, friends, it always comes up. And our biggest question is just, why does it seem as if some, don't want to overgeneralize, don't want to make a generalization, some black men are afraid of commitment? Some
in general, this can apply to all men, but we're saying specifically we see it more in the black community. Okay, so there's always these seminars, we talked about it before in one of our videos. A lot of them are geared towards women. A lot of Christian stuff, or women are this, women stop being picky, oh, women do this, women do that. That's fine. We advocate for that on this channel too. We do say some women are delusional, okay? Some women are looking for things they don't even have, okay? And that's the reality. I don't think you should be looking for anything you don't possess yourself, right? Put that aside. But however, all of this talk is always targeted towards women. But women don't propose. Women don't get on a knee. Women don't say, will you marry me? Right? So even if we have a whole bunch of women specimens that are walking around open and honest and humble and great, they still are going to remain single if the men do not value commitment. If the men do not value marriage. If the men do not propose to them. They're still going to be single. So we always talk about like why are black women single. We have a couple of videos on that we'll link in this video. But then we realize that we need to stop just talk about why are black women. Like why are the black men making them single? Why are the black men scared of commitment? Like this is a serious issue. I feel like a lot of times we're overlooking in our society. Like, you know, like people just talk about, oh, do this and do that and do this. You know what I mean? Oh,
work on yourself.
Date men that are over 40. Don't date men that are under 30. Do work on, like, you know, all this stuff. But it's like the reality is that there's a reason why we see this large pool of black women that are single, right? And like there's reasons.
Because they're waiting for their fellow black men.
Right. In most cases.
Yeah.
Who are scared of that serious commitment. Okay, the reality is that marriage is scary. Even me as a woman in my late 20s, I'm scared to get married. You know what I mean? I don't walk around and say, I can't wait, oh my God, to give my whole life to one man. It's going to be so exciting. Like, I feel like people have this narrative that, like, women are so desperate for marriage. Or, like, they don't have any fears. They don't have any anxieties. They don't have any, you know, thoughts. Like, marriage is scary to me.
It's so scary.
It's scary for me to be with someone the rest of my life, a stranger, and I'm supposed to just make it work. It's scary to me, but it's not something I'm scared to do. The actual thought of it is scary. It is scary. It's not something that I think is like so joyous and oh my God, I can't wait. No, but I'm not scared to do it because it's a part of life. Same way working was scary. It's a part of life. I had to start doing it. Same way going to school was scary. It's a part of life I had to do. Same way having a child is going to be scary. But for me, it's a part of life. I'm going to have to do it. You get what I'm saying? So I think that, you know, no one's trying to take away how monumental these experiences are. No one's trying to take away how serious they are. No one is saying that. No one is minimizing them. But it just seems that, you know, so many black guys you meet and so many black guys you talk to, it's like some of them are so when I talk about commitment, I'm not necessarily even, maybe they'll be ready to be in a relationship for 5 years or date, but I'm talking about marriage.
I'm not even talking about as far as marriage. I'm talking about just even to commit to even being in a relationship. I'm talking about like sealing the deal. I'm talking about saying I do is a thing. I really think that is like, oh my God, like so scary to a lot of men that I meet. But it's like, I feel like some of them are fine dating. They're fine dating. They're fine being in a relationship. Maybe they're not even being monogamous. Maybe they're cheating while they're in relationships. You get what I'm saying? They're fine with that most of the time. But I find it tends to be one true talking about marriage. Like, oh, I don't have 3 houses yet. I don't have 5 cars. I can't give you the wedding. But I said I don't need a wedding. Oh, that's not true. You need a wedding. You're telling me what I need? I don't need a wedding. I can just go to court. Oh, well, I need to have a wedding. Oh, I need to have this. I need to have 10 pieces of land. I need to have this. And I'm just like, tomorrow they'll say that it's us. But I'm telling you I don't need any of these things. I'm telling you that this doesn't not important to me. As a man, that's what they're supposed to provide. So basically, like we can go on talking about this for days and days and days, because I think that the biggest issue comes down to why it's so important, why we're so passionate about it, because it ends up affecting our fellow black women. Because when you look at other ethnicities, no one is perfect. There's men I'm not saying that other men are the standard and they're bad. That's not what I'm saying. But their mentality and their value towards marriage is different. Hispanic men, white men, Asian men. Like I go to work. I've had colleagues, like these men are 27, 28 years old. They're getting engaged. They don't feel as if they're too young. They haven't accomplished what these black men are waiting to accomplish. Some of them haven't accomplished half, but they're ready to start their life. And it has to be like, this is not by chance. This is not random. It's a reason why that our particularly black men wait longer or are more reluctant to commit. There's something deeper. Like we have to dig this up. I think the number one reason is the media. Whether you add social media, TV, music, all of that.
Before family structure?
Yes, I think number one, because I think the number one thing is the media. When it comes out to, you listen to a lot of the music, rap music, and then doesn't really listen to rap music. Listen to rap, you listen to all this hip hop, you saw this, or think about how it has progressed over maybe like 20, 30 years. When you had Boys to Men, Make Love to You, I Want a Wife You, Will You Be My Wife You? All this music was promoting love in relationships. This new era, I don't know when it started, early 2000s, mid 2000s. Everything is about get money, F bitches. Get money, sleep with her, make her come, leave her. Like everything is so like about the act. You know what I mean? So it's like these young men grew up.
Even the girls.
Even these girls are saying, I don't need him. I'll sleep with him, leave him, get the next one. He give me money. He buy my weave. Like these, even the women are saying it. So it's like you listen to this music and you listen. This is what's portrayed. It affects you.
You listen to it.
You listen to this. Country music is not singing "fuck those bitches." They're not singing that. They still talk about love and relationships and living life and life experiences. Other rock and roll, they're not saying. They don't. No other music degrades the black woman like rap.
Wow.
No other genre. They're not talking like that. They're not saying F this, literally calling us curse words, and we even be rapping along to it as if we're fools.
Twerking
to it, degrading us. No other genre of music is talking like that. So I think that affects the black man because they just feel as if they hear their favorite rapper, young this, young small so this, telling them F women, get money. They're worried about the streets. They're worried about getting the money, looking flashy, looking cute.
Even doctors,
exactly.
Even the
ones that are not in the streets, they're worried about get your money, my dude. Get your money, live big, go to Miami, go to Vegas, go here in FBs. Because that's what you're supposed to do as a man. And they're getting that put in their head. And it's like, is that the person you think is going to be checking to get married at a reasonable age, even be committed? When they have these, their idols, their role models,
their gods,
their small gods, telling them that this is how you're supposed to live your life.
Okay, media is one. I think a huge factor is I really think it's the black family. I really think it's the structure of the home. Because I noticed, we talk about videos, I deal with a lot of guys that like, one of my past, like Nigerian, but like not born here, right? And I tend to notice that they value marriage much more. But when they come to America, sometimes they become Americanized, right? Because you come to a system where marriage is not valued as much. So like you don't have to be married. You don't have to be married. You don't have. It doesn't signifies respect like it does in Africa. At a certain age in countries in Africa, if you're not married, people don't respect you.
To ask guys their age, they won't tell you.
Right? Like
they don't tell you their age because they're embarrassed.
It's the only type of men I'll deal with that sometimes don't even want to tell you their age. Because it's like, oh, how am I 34 and I haven't accomplished this and I haven't gotten that? There's like shame attached to it. So I think as a family structure, like family morals in general, like you come to a country like America, you see a lot of single black families, a lot of single black women, a lot of men that grow up with no father figure. They don't grow up with any man in the house. You know what I mean? And they start to normalize that, right? So like it's not like really like a big deal, or maybe they feel as if like
it's traumas from growing up without that father figure.
Oh, I didn't have this, so I don't want to bring kids in the world. I can't have that either. You know what I mean? I went through this, so I want to make sure, and it just start playing to narrative. I want to make sure I'm 100%, but you're never going to be 100%. I want to make sure she's really the one. You're never going to know if she's 100% the one until you try it.
But this comes I'm not telling you to jump. This comes back to slavery though, right? Like even after that, after slavery ended, it still was the Jim Crow era. So you still have black men being put into jail, not to say all of them were innocent, but for very minor things. And if your father's even if he's alive, but your father's in jail 20 years, you didn't grow up with a father. Right. You didn't see him. You didn't have that relationship.
I think a mother can only do so much. She can't replace that love and that affection a father can give a child. Especially for a man. So you have a lot of men growing up, and maybe they feel like, you know what I mean? My father wasn't a great father. I don't want to get married or have children until I can be that father. Or I want to give my kids everything in the world I didn't get. You know what I mean? So sometimes we start like overthinking these things. And granted, it's a trauma you've dealt with. You're going to internalize it differently. But you start saying, okay, I want to get married until I have 3 houses, 1 for each child. I don't want to get married until I have 10 cars.
So 8-bedroom house.
Exactly. So you start putting up all these things. I don't want to get married until this. I don't want to get married until, and like all those things are not necessarily be married. Especially in the modern day when you're marrying a woman who has a career. You know what I mean? You're not marrying a liability. You're not marrying a woman who's going to be looking for you for allowance. You're not marrying that type of woman in 2020, most likely. In America. Yeah.
Outside of America, things were real.
In America, most likely. So it's like, you don't need to accomplish everything before you settle down. And by the time, it should be based on, I'm always the person that say, I don't think age should even be involved in it. I think it should be based on you meeting the right person. You know what I mean? I don't think really, of course, an extent, I'm not going to want my 18-year-old daughter to get married. Like, of course, that's extremely too young. But if my daughter is even 24, 25, and she thinks she's met the man of her life, I'm not going to tell her she's too young. Why is she too young? Is she too young to be a pharmacist? Is she too young to be a medical doctor? Is she too young to have gone to school for 10 years? Why am I telling her she's too young to get married? Like, no, like you shouldn't be basing marriage based on where you are in life. It should be based on you meeting the right person. Yeah. Unless there's extremes, like you're 16, 17, 18, 9. Okay, then I don't think I would support my child getting married like 19.
Even my son. I don't want my 20-year-old son telling me he was getting married.
Yeah, I think I'll tell you you're too young. Because another thing I see a lot when I do meet a lot of black men who marry young, they end up being divorced, like by the early 30s. And a lot of them will say, I married too young. I got married too young. I got married too young. So, I get it. You know what I mean? Maybe sometimes you do things too young and you start thinking something is out there that's not really there. You know what I mean? Like, oh, I should have not. You know what I mean? You divorce, you become single, you realize, I should stay where I was. You know what I mean? Life, this is how life always looks greener on the other side.
But I think another bigger issue is accessibility, right? So when we think about the olden days, think about our parents where they're recording, it's like there was no social media. There's no Instagram. There's no Facebook. They barely even had phones, some of them. You had to page people. So it's like if you wanted to be with a girl, see a girl, you had to put a lot of effort in. So you're not going to put that effort into 20 girls unless you're a womanizer and you don't have a job.
Because womanizers always
been around. They've always been here, but it's like it's a lot of effort. It's a lot of work.
Especially if you're not jobless.
Yes, it's a lot of work. So our fathers grew up where they had to go and walk, knock on the woman's door, see the parent, if not sneak out on certain times, write her a note, tell her to meet her 2 days from now at 2 p.m. by the tree. So that's too much. But now, what can men do? Go on phone, scroll, breasts, butt, this, hips, this, they're always seeing women.
Right.
Women are accessible to them. So it devalues us because the women are too accessible. Right now, literally, all you have to do is pick up your phone. Every 10 minutes, you can see women. Every 2 minutes, you can just see beautiful women. So I feel like right now, those same men, let's say they move somewhere that's far in the middle of nowhere.
Or put them on a desert island.
Or you put them, they're going to be so desperate to get married. Or to at least be in a relationship because they're lonely. Same way we talk about in our other videos about how the southern lifestyle, people usually commit more versus up north. Why? Up north, there's more distractions, quote unquote. If you're living somewhere you have to drive 40 minutes to see civilization, you can't be jumping up and down like that. Like there's really no time. Like that's what makes people have to settle down easier or more. So I think another big factor is that women are just too accessible. They're everywhere. They're everywhere on everywhere you go, you see beautiful women. So I feel like a lot of these guys, and I've had they're accessible. You could contact them easily, because not just them being accessible. Like you can see them, you can DM them. You can have relationships. You go on a dating app. You can do this. You could do that. So just even meeting women can seem as if it's just so easy. So it's like, why am I going to take you serious when there's 100 other girls I can meet with?
And then you have all these standards and expectations of me, but there's 10 girls who better than you don't even have those standards and expectations. You know what I mean? So this makes it a little bit more competitive, But in general, I think three main reasons we feel like why a lot of black men seem to be scared of commitment. So we talked about number one being the media. Number two, I said
black
structure of the black family. And number three, talk about accessibility of women in the modern age. Okay, so let's know what you guys think in the comments. Do you think that we're overdoing? Y'all don't notice what I'm noticing? Y'all don't notice meeting so many men and grown 40, 38, 39.
One year I met so many men 40 plus who were single, and I was 25 at that time, and they all gave me one story or the other, one weird excuse or the other. 40 and up, I met so many men in their 40s who were single, and I was just this doesn't seem this
do you really
weird.
Believe that a 40-year-old has never met someone decent they could have married? That's just my opinion. I just feel I'm not gonna tell you I've never met someone decent. I just maybe didn't like them, but I'm not gonna sit here and say at my age I've never met someone reasonable that I maybe could have worked things out with. I don't think that's true. I don't believe in a soulmate. I don't believe there's only one person for each person. I think that's rubbish. I really don't. But I just think there needs to be two people that want to make it work. That's my honest opinion. But let us know in the comment section. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. And we'll talk to you later. Bye-bye.